Morning students, welcome back in your SS class. Student, in the previous video lecture, we have started the first chapter of geography, that is resource and development. And we have studied about some part about resource. Now let's continue this part further. So dear student, we have been discussing about the classification of the resources, and today we will discuss about the classification of the resources on the basis of ownership. So dear student, on the basis of ownership, we classify our resources into four parts. The first one is individual, second one is community, third one is national, and fourth one is international. Means on the basis of the ownership, we classify resources into four parts. These are, first one is individual, the second one is community, third one is national, and fourth one international resources. So dear student, if we think about individual resources, these are those resources which are owned and controlled by an individual, and you can say a group of individuals in a private manner. These resources are called individual resources. Means you can see that you have already one home, and you can say you have some vehicle also. So these resources are your permanent resource, and the control on these resources, it is only individual you have. So that's why these resources are considered the individual resource, because these are owned and controlled by an individual, and you can say a group of private individuals. Right, friends? Now, second type of resource, that is community resources. If we think about community resources, these are those resources which belong to the community, belong to the all member of that particular community. It means these resources are controlled and managed by the all member of the community. Every person can use in a very, you can say that in a very equal manner. Right, friends? Like you can say that public park, it's an example of this community resource, right? You have some public parks, and we can use that thing also, and even picnic spots also, and sometimes we can say that the village food also, and graveyard also. So these are those resources which belong to a particular community. So all the people of the community, they have the control over that particular resources. So those resources are known community owned resources. Right, friends? So my dear student, now third one is national resource. So dear student, we have a lot of resources, and they are found in the particular boundary of a country. They are found in the political boundary of a country. So that's why these resources, they are belong to a particular nation. Means suppose we have a private plot of land, but it belongs to our nation India. It belongs to our nation India. That's why it is called national resource also. Right? So my dear student, the resources which are found within the political boundary of a country, that resources are known national resources. Right, friends? So dear student, here I also want to tell you one thing, that a particular country has two types of political boundary. The first one, it is the land type of boundary, and the second one is the you can say coastal boundary. Means the boundary which is touched with the ocean and other coastal areas. So we have two type of boundary. Like India has land boundary 15,200 kilometer, but it has the coastal boundary, that is 7516.6 kilometer. Right, friends? So the area which is the boundary, the political boundary which is connected, which is attached with the coastal lines, and you can say with the ocean and those things. So my dear student, up to the 12 nautical miles, we can say that 22.2 kilometer area, that area is the area of that particular country, and the country has the legal power to use all these things. The country has the legal power to use the resources found in that particular area. Like I'll give you example, one thing, Mumbai High. It's a great source, you can say that the place from where we can get natural resources. So this Mumbai High, it is not on the you can say that in the political boundary of India. It is in the, you can say, ocean near the Mumbai. Near Mumbai, it is in ocean. It is in Arabian Sea. But because it is found, it is under the 12 nautical miles of the India. That's why this resource, the resources which are found in the Mumbai High, they belong to the national resource, right? Okay, now let's think about the fourth resource, that is international resources. So dear student, whenever any boundary is touched with the political boundary of a country, so we think about that 12 nautical miles. It is the area which has under the control of the national resources. But dear student, after the 12 nautical miles, 200 up to the 200 nautical miles, that particular area belongs to the national, and even though Navy है वहां पर गश्त भी लगा सकती है. But my dear student, the international resource, these are found beyond the 200 nautical miles away. The resources which are found in the 200 nautical miles away, and they were not under any you can say they are not under any political boundary of any country. The resources which are found in those areas, these are called international resources, right? These are called international resources, and even no single community can use these resources without the permission of any international authority. So here, who are these international authorities? These are World Bank, and you can say other international organization. So after the permission of the international organization, we can use them. But these resources, because they are not under any control of the any political these are not under the any particular country. That's why these resources are called international resources, and these are found in the oceanic zone. You can say that 200 nautical miles away, the area that is considered international resource. Here I have told you that area the political boundary which is attached with the oceanic areas. So 12 nautical miles, the area of the 12 nautical miles, it is the you can say directly under the national resources. जो भी रिसोर्स वहां पर मिलेंगे वो नेशनल रिसोर्स मिलते हैं. बट 1200 से 12 से लेकर 200 न्यूटिकल माइल्स तक का जो एरिया होता है ना, वो उस देश का माना जाता है. वहां पर वो अपनी नेवी के लिए गश्त लगा सकते हैं, बट वहां के रिसोर्सेज का इतना यूज नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि कई बार वहां पर कन्फ्लिक्ट भी क्रिएट हो सकता है दूसरी कंट्री के साथ. बट अगर हम इंटरनेशनल रिसोर्सेज की बात करते हैं, दिस आर फाउंड बियॉन्ड द 200 न्यूटिकल माइल्स अवे, राइट स्टूडेंट्स? So these are the international resources. So this is the classification of the resources on the basis of ownership, in which we have divided our resources into 4 parts. The first one is individual, the second one is community owned, and the third one is national, and the fourth one is international. So this is on the basis of the ownership of the resources. Hope so you have understood this thing. Now next classification, it is on the base of the development of resources. Means यहाँ पर हम क्या करेंगे, stage of the development of the resources, we will classify these resources. So on the basis of the stage of the development of resource, we classify resources into 4 parts here also. The first one is developed resources, which can be considered the actual resources. The second one is potential resources. Third one is reserve, and the fourth one is stock. Dear student, listen it very carefully, because we always have some confusion regarding these you can say this type of resources. So first of all, let's think about the actual and developed resources. So dear student, the resources whose existence has been totally proved, and we have knowledge about the quality, quantity, and even the location of that particular resources, they are called actual resources. It means that we have knowledge about the quality, quantity, and even the location, and you can say that we have proper technology about the utilization of those resources. They are called developed resources. Like we can say that coal and other things also, which are found in the Chota Nagpur region. These are developed resources because we have a proper knowledge about the quality, quantity, and even we have technology about these resources, and we can extract those resources and can be used for our development. So these are the resources which are called actual resources, right? Now the second resource, these are called potential resource. So dear student, you have studied about these resources also in the you can say that previous classes. You have studied about it in the previous classes. So my dear student, here potential resources, if you think about it, the resources which are found in a particular area, but still we are not able to utilize them due to many factors, right? Due to many factors, we have not able to use them. So, dear student, if we think about potential resources, these are resources which are found in a particular region, but we are not able to utilize them. Why? Because due to of climatic factors, and you can say relief features also. You can say relief feature also, and you can say geographical conditions. You can say it geographical conditions. So these are those resources which are found in a particular region, but still we are not able to use them. Why we are not able to use them? Because due to the climatic factors, due to the physical relief features, and many other things. That's why these resources are, you can say that we are not able to utilize them. That's why we are not utilize them. So these resources are called potential resources. These resources are called potential resources, like the resources which are found in the northeastern state. The resources which are found in the northeastern state, because that area is totally forested areas. That's why we are not able to use them. And if you think about the resources which are found in the Antarctica region, but we are not still using them due to climatic factors. These are potential resource, right? These are potential resource. The next one is reserve. If we think about reserve, resources which can be put into use with the help of existing technology, but still we are not using them. Reason is that because we have preserved them for the future generation. These are called, you can say, reserve resource. Dear student, रिजर्व एंड एक्चुअल, दीज आर सेम रिसोर्सेज. एक्चुअल और रिजर्व के बारे में हमें टेक्नोलॉजी भी है, क्वांटिटी भी पता है, क्वालिटी भी पता है, बट एक्चुअल जो रिसोर्स का वो पार्ट जो हमने अपनी फ्यूचर जनरेशन के लिए बचा के रखा है, दैट इज कॉल्ड रिजर्व रिसोर्स. दैट इज कॉल्ड रिजर्व रिसोर्स, क्योंकि वो हमने अपनी फ्यूचर जनरेशन के लिए बचा के रखा है. राइट नाउ वी हैव टू कम फोर्थ वन, दैट इज स्टॉक. That is stock. Student, potential and stock, these are two different type of resource. Stock also those type of resources which we are not able to use them. Here the reason is due to lack of technology. Here the reason is due to lack of technology, like water, H2O. Like water, H2O, hydrogen and oxygen. I have already given this information about it, that we don't have such type of technology that can separate these two inflammable gases. That's why H2O, this is the stock, you can say that. So potential, we are not able to use them due to the climatic factor, due to the geographical conditions, and you can say that stock, we are not able to use them due to lack of technology. Right? Hope so these four it is clear to all of you. Right? Now come to the another things. This is not mentioned in your class also, sorry, in your book also. So distribution of the resource, resources classify on the basis of distribution of the resources. If we think about on the basis of distribution, we classify resources into two parts. The first one is the ubiquitous and the second one is the localized. Ubiquitous resource, it means that these resources which are found everywhere, they are called ubiquitous, like air, land, water, etc. These are ubiquitous resources. But localized resources, these are those resources which are found only in a particular areas, that are called localized resources, like coal, petroleum, iron ore, etc. These are the example of it. So this is the distribution of the resources. So on the base of distribution of resources, we classify these resources into two parts. The first one is ubiquitous resource, which are found in everywhere in the world. You can say that like air, land, water, etc. And some are localized resources, which are found only at certain places. They are called localized resources, like coal, petroleum, iron ore, etc. Right, friends? Now, dear student, now we have to discuss about the development of the resources, and it's a very most important thing. So, dear student, till now we have already studied about it. Means up to 8th we have studied about it, that resources, these are free gift of nature. That's why even if you think about these resources, these are very helpful in the development of the person. That's why we are using them in a very indiscriminate manner. And due to these things, some problem we have to face. Means we have a lot of problem which we have to face. Like we can say that depletion of the resources for satisfying the greed of the few individual. Means what we are saying, that And so here I want to tell you one thing, that because we know about it, resources are the free gift of nature, and these are very helpful and essential for the development of human being. That's why few people they fulfill their you can say a grid, and you can say greed of their nature. That's why the resources they are you can say that at the verge of the depletion. It means they are going to deplete, right? Second most important thing, because in our society there are many people who are rich, so that's why these resources just only these are accumulated in the only in few hands. It means they are accumulated, they satisfy just only the needs of the few persons, and what about the other person? And this accumulation of the resources, it created this accumulation of the resources in few hands, it created a wide gap between rich and poor also. So we have one important class, that rich and poor also, right friends? The next most important thing, that unsystematic use of resources, it is also creating many problems around the world. Means if we are using you can say indiscriminately our natural resources, it means this not create only the problem in our country, it also created the problem in all over the world, like global warming, ecological crisis, disturbance of the ozone layer also. So my dear student, due to because we know about it, resources are free gift of nature, so that's why we are using them in a very indiscriminate manner, and due to this thing we have faced a lot of problem in our world, right? So these are the problems which we are facing right now. In the future, not in the future, at present, right students? So to sort out this problem, to sort out these problems, we have to adopt one most important thing, that is sustainable development. Means agar हमें इन प्रॉब्लम से बचना है, तो we have to adopt a concept that is sustainable development. So here, what is sustainable development? Question is here, what is sustainable development? So my dear student, if we think about sustainable development, it is the development which should take place without the damaging of the environment and compromise with the needs of the future generation. It is called the sustainable development. It means that we have to cope up, we have to manage the present level of the development, as well as we will not compromise the needs of the future generation also. मीन्स हम अपना प्रेजेंट लेवल को तो कंटिन्यू रखेंगे ही रखेंगे, बट रिसोर्सेज का इस तरीके से यूज करेंगे कि फ्यूचर जनरेशन के साथ कंप्रोमाइज ना करना पड़े. सो दैट प्रोसेस इट इज कॉल्ड सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट. That process it is called sustainable development. So this is sustainable development in which we will take care of our present also, but we will not compromise the needs of the future generation also. Right? This situation, this development, it is known as a sustainable development. Right, students? So, dear student, so to achieve this sustainable development, if we think about sustainable development, to achieve this sustainable development, there was our first international Earth Summit. It is in Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit in 1992, and it is held in June 1992, where more than 100 heads of the state, it means more than 100 countries, they met in Brazil. That is called Rio de Janeiro, and it was, you can say that the considered the first international Earth Summit. Why they have met there, why they have gathered there, the basic reason is that because we are using our resources in a very indiscriminately. That's why we have faced some global you can say problems in the world also. So to sort out, to tackle all these problems, in June 1992, near about more than 100 countries, they met at you can say Rio de Janeiro in Brazil for the first time, and the main aim is to create the sustainable development, means to get the sustainable development. It was their main aim. And dear student, it was the first international Earth Summit to discuss all the social and economical problems. Right? So the summit, it was organized for addressing the urgent problem. What are the urgent problems? These are the urgent problems of the related to the environment and socio-economical development. So this summit means these people, these countries, they met here also so that they can discuss about the problems of the environmental protection also, and about the social and economical development also. Right, friends? And whenever they you can say whenever they finalize the things, so all the leaders, they sign on the declaration on global climatic change and biological diversity. And the main aim, and you can say here, they endorsed the global forest principle also, and they adopted agenda 21 so that they can achieve the sustainable development in the 21st century. This was the thing, because whenever the Earth Summit is finished, at the final term, they reach at the conclusion, and in that conclusion, they accepted that Agenda 21 must be achieved so that sustainable development can be achieved in 21st generation, so in 21st century. So here one question is there that what is Agenda 21? Agenda 21 है क्या? Let's discuss about what is Agenda 21. So if we think about Agenda 21, the aim of this agenda, it is global sustainable development. It means whatever is the present level of our development, we have to maintain this thing. Second thing, we will not compromise it with the future generation. So its main aim, Agenda 21 main aim to achieve the global sustainable development. One thing. Second thing, it would combat the environmental damage. मीन्स जो भी एनवायरमेंटल प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट हो रही है उनको सॉर्ट आउट करना है. इवन पॉवर्टी, डिसीज व्हिच आर क्रिएटेड थ्रू द ग्लोबल व्हिच आर क्रिएटेड ड्यू टू दिस थिंग. सो वी हैव टू cover up, we have to cope up with all these things with the global cooperation, and you can say mutual needs and understanding, and everybody could understand it their own responsibility, and we can achieve these things. It means due to the Agenda 21, sustainable development would be achieved, and this would be achieved through the mutual understanding and the responsibility of all the world. This responsibility of the whole world, and everybody would participate in it, right? And the major objective of Agenda 21 is that every local government should draw its own local Agenda 21. हर एक लोकल गवर्नमेंट जो है वो लोकल एजेंडा 21 बनाएगी. देन wherever they complete it, then this local agenda 21 will compare to the national agenda 21, और उसमें देखा जाएगा कहीं पर आपस में कोई कंफ्लिक्ट तो क्रिएट नहीं है, राइट? तो उस कंफ्लिक्ट को हटाने के लिए उसको कंपेयर किया जाता है. So this is the local agenda 21, where the major aim is that to achieve global sustainable development. Their major aim is global sustainable development. This is Agenda 21, and this was achieved. This was done due to the Earth Summit of Brazil. It was the first international Earth Summit which was held in June 1992. Right, friends? Now, student, we are using resources in a very indiscriminately. So that's why we are facing a lot of problems. So even we have one problem is also that there are some resources which are near about at the verge of the finish also. So that's why we require resource planning. That's why we require resource planning, because whenever we do anything with the proper planning, then we can achieve you can say that maximum output of that particular thing. Right, students? So first of all, let's understand the concept. What is resource planning? So my dear student, if we think about resource planning, it is the judicious use of the resources. It means that resource planning, it includes the judicious use of the resources. It means हम resources का इस प्रकार से यूज करेंगे कि हमारी future generation के साथ हमें कोई compromise ना करना पड़े. And why we require resource planning? Question is arise here. Why we require the resource planning? Reason is that because, my dear student, the resources these are unevenly distributed in all over the world. The resources these are unevenly distributed in all over the world, and you can say in India also. So that's why resource planning is essential for us. Reason is that because in India, let's take the example of India. In India, there are many states which are self-sufficient. They have all the type of resources, but there are many places which have one resource but lack of another resource. Which have one resource but lack of another resource. Let's take the example of one example that in Rajasthan we have solar energy, we have wind energy in huge quantity, but there is a lack of water. Right, students? But if we think about Arunachal Pradesh, it has a lot of water. It has a lot of water resource, but there is a lack of infrastructure. Lack of infrastructure in Arunachal Pradesh. And even if we think about the state of Jharkhand, and Chhattisgarh, and you can say Bihar also. So these are the resources. These are those places where all type of resources which are found in a proper amount, right? So my dear student, that's why we have to use these resources in a proper planned manner, so that the output can be maximum, right friends? And even to stop the discrimination about this thing, so we have to use proper judicious planning also, because we have studied about this thing, that these resources, they are just accumulated only one hand, and you can say in only few hands. That's why some people, they are becoming more rich, and the poor people, they are becoming more poor. So the gap between rich and poor, it is widened, it is going to be widened. That's why to reduce this thing, we have to use these resources in a proper planning, so that the output is could be get even manner, right friends? So this is resource planning. So in order to get maximum output, and you can say a good resource planning, it is must keeping in mind with the help of technology, skill and institution. So with the help of you can say skill, technology and institution, we can if we have a proper planning, then we can get maximum output. Even when India got independence, and after getting independence, India have prepared some 5-year plans. In these 5-year plans, the resource planning, it is an important essential part of it also. In the first 5-year planning, we have targeted agriculture, but after then we have discussing about these resources, because these resources, these are very most important for the development of a person, and you can say for the development of a country. So that's why to get more and more output in the resource planning, we have identified few important points. What are few important points? Let's discuss these things. First of all, dear student, in the resource planning, we have the first step, that is identification of the resources all over the country. Means we have to identify the resources where these resources are found. Means we have to identify more and more areas. We have to identify more and more areas, so that we can get more and more resources, right? The second step, it is proper planning structure must be there, and this planning structure with be appropriate technology, skill and institution. Means first of all, we identify the resources, means we identify the places where the resources are found. Then we will make a proper plan with appropriate technology, skill and institution, so that we can achieve maximum output also, right friends? Then we have to make some local agenda 21 also, but we will match this local agenda 21 with the national agenda 21. Means we have to make a local planning structure. Then this local planning structure will be compared with the you can say that national planning structure, so that the conflict can be over, because we have already studied about it, that the resources these are found in an unevenly manner. That's why we have to use these resources in a very planned manner. So these are some important, and you can say main point of the resource planning, right students? So dear student, because we have studied about it, that the resources are you can say that natural resource, these are free gift of nature. So that's why with the due to the grade, means due to fulfill their motive, and you can say their benefit, few people they are using, and you can say people they are misusing the things, and that's why they are indiscriminately overutilize these resources. And whenever, my dear student, whenever we overutilize anything, that thing must be, you can say, going to be finished, But dear student, if our resources would be overutilized, and you can say the consumption of the resources, it would be irrational. Due to this thing, it has created a lot of economical and environmental problem before us, right students? It has created a lot of problem before us. So that's why we have to use these resources in a very judicious manner. Even our Indian scholar, you can say that even our Indian philosopher and many leaders, they also show concern toward this irrational consumption and overutilization of the resources also. Mahatma Gandhi told that there is enough for everybody's need, but not for anybody's greed. इट मीन्स दैट हमारे पास इतना रिसोर्सेज है कि हम हर एक व्यक्ति की आवश्यकताओं को पूरा कर सकते हैं, पर हमारे पास इतना रिसोर्स नहीं है कि वो एक व्यक्ति के लालच को पूरा कर सके। So even due to this irrational consumption and overutilization of the resources, जो गांधी जी जैसे नेशनल लीडर थे, they have also showed their concern. He thought that Gandhiji thought that the exploitative nature of the modern technology, it is the root cause of the depletion of the of these resources. मीन्स पूरे ग्लोबल लेवल पे अगर हमें रिसोर्स की प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, इट वाज जस्ट ओनली ड्यू टू मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजी, एंड ड्यू टू मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजी वी आर ओवर यूटिलाइजिंग द थिंग्स, वी आर डूइंग मास प्रोडक्शन. But my dear student, Mahatma Gandhi believed that production must be by the masses, not for the mass production. इसका मतलब ये है कि हमें प्रोडक्शन ज्यादा नहीं करनी चाहिए, पर जितनी ज्यादा करते हैं वो मैक्सिमम पीपल को मिलनी चाहिए. दैट इज मास प्रोडक्शन फॉर द मास पर्सन, राइट स्टूडेंट? सो दैट्स व्हाई Mahatma Gandhi, and there are many different scholars, philosophers, and you can say there are many different leaders. They also shows the concern toward the irrational consumption and overutilization of these resources. Right, friends? So this is the resources. From today, I hope everything is clear to all of you. From tomorrow video lecture, we will continue this lecture further, and we will discuss about land as a natural resource. Also, everything is clear to all of you. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day.